Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the 37th episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. My name is Manobina Chakraborty, founder I for Inclusion. And I'm delighted to welcome a team of neurodiversity advocates to this show today. We have Professor Anirban Ghosh from Netaji Subhash Open University, Kolkata. So is Dr. Papiya Upadhyay. She is an assistant professor in the same university. Mrs. Vijaya Vaithilingam, a well-known inclusive education expert in Maharashtra, based in Navi Mumbai, and of course a known face in Let's Talk Inclusion. And we have Mrs. Archana Garg, a rehabilitation psychologist based in Gujarat at present, but practicing all over India. Archana is a founding member of I for Inclusion as well. I welcome all of you to Let's Talk Inclusion. Welcome. And before we formally start, let me just show you a brief profile of all our participants today, all our esteemed guests today. Here it is. As you can see, Professor Ghosh has been working for more than 15 years in Netaji Subhash Open University. And I came to know him very recently as we were working for a course, development of a course under his mentorship. The course was on understanding neurodiversity. So here is Dr. Papiya Upadhyay. Papiya Upadhyay has also huge experience in the field of education, and she is also working with Netaji Subhash Open University. Papiya is my colleague while we were and we still are working on that project on understanding neurodiversity, and our main goal is to spread awareness and, of course, acceptance of neurodiversity in our country. Mrs. Vijaya Vaithilingam, all our viewers of Let's Talk Inclusion already know, madam. It's your third time in Let's Talk Inclusion, madam, right? So she has a vast experience of 40 long years in the field of education, and for the last 25 years, she has been heading an integrated school in Navi Mumbai. Then my friend Archana Garg. Archana is the founding member of Let's Talk Inclusion, and with huge experience in the field of psychology. I learn from her every day. So here is the team, and as I was saying that we have been working on the field of neurodiversity to spread awareness and acceptance in India. And for that, we actually, last month or so, we launched a course on understanding neurodiversity under the mentorship of Professor Ghosh, and it was jointly held by Netaji Subhash Open University and also SIMCA, Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia. So it was a nice experience, and we had a few more experts with us. Mrs. Kavita Sharma was one of them. Mrs. Antara Chaudhary was one of them, and yes, there were many others like from abroad. Professor Stephen Shore, Mr. Michael Purchase, Ms. Caroline Hill, and yes, from Mr. Priya Bromhomik, and then Ms. Ferris Boschert, Ms. Pronita Banerjee. So all of us joined hand together and developed a course on understanding neurodiversity. Now, what is neurodiversity? I think I'm speaking a lot now. Vijaya ma'am, could you please say something about neurodiversity before we formally begin? Ma'am, you are mute, I think. Please unmute yourself.
Neurodiversity is a term which I had heard before, but I was really not knowing what it is all about till I did the course. And after a very long gap, I had the experience of being a student too. And I must tell you, I enjoyed it. So the course did a lot of good to me in many ways. So as far as neurodiversity is concerned, now I understand that it is a term that is used uh, more for social justice. It is not really fighting against the term disability, but it is a term which gives more respect. It is a more inclusive term which shows that when there are strengths in every person, we have to look at the strengths and call them as a very normal variation in the world. It is not just like
Yeah.
biodiversity, there is
Yeah.
neurodiversity.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
this
Thank you. Yeah, the term neurodiversity is here for a while now. This is for our viewers. It was introduced in the late 90s by the Australian social scientist Ms. Judy Singer. And the concept of neurodiversity was developed in order to celebrate the brain differences. And as Madam said, the word doesn't have any negative connotation. This theory is all about acceptance and celebration of different abilities,
differences.
not of tagging anyone for any particular difference. Although it was started with autism rights movement, but the concept of neurodiversity has now expanded to include all minorities, including those with dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, ASD, DCD, and others. And this week, started from 21st till 27th, is marked as Neurodiversity Celebration Week. And that's why we are here today to celebrate neurodiversity. And as I was saying that Netaji Subhash Open University and Commonwealth Education Media Center for Asia jointly launched a course recently on understanding neurodiversity. It was the maiden course on this concept in India, to the best of my knowledge. And since Professor Ghosh is here, she was one of the coordinators of the course. I will come to you now, Professor Ghosh. Uh, you're basically from a different background, aren't you? And now a crusader of neurodiversity in India. So, could you please tell us how the concept of neurodiversity changed your outlook towards life, Professor Ghosh? You have to
Thank you,
unmute it.
Manobina. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
Manobina. As Vijaya ma'am already told, it is also new terminology to me, the neurodiversity. And it is my privilege to be part of this celebration of Neurodiversity Week. So I can say a little bit on the neurodiversity. As you already told, I am not I do not belong to this domain, but I can share some of my experience which I have learned during the course understanding the neurodiversity. This session is based on let's talk inclusion. So we are talking about the inclusion. What does it mean? Different people can define the inclusion in different way. But the United Nations says full and effective participation and inclusion in society. This has been defined by United Nations. So we may ask one person, are you included? Do you have the same opportunities as others? Or do you face any challenges or difficulty in your day-to-day activities? Or do you participate in social activities as others? Or are you segregated by others? So these questions may be asked to define the inclusion. It is very important that one must have equal access to education, employment opportunity or livelihood, and healthcare services. But the people with special needs generally face certain barriers. It is our experience, like social barrier, economic barrier, and physical barrier. Now the problem arises, we tag social taboos on some people who behave differently or whose thinking is different. At the same time, some people faces physical difficulties or challenges too, like visual impairment or hearing impairment, and so on. So we have to address all the issues in a holistic way so that we can address the issues like inclusivity, accessibility, and sustainability for which the individual cannot be held responsible. But we are more concerned about the physical challenges or difficulties for which we do provide certain facilities, whether it is workplace or transportation system or house. But a certain section is ignored. So, since we are celebrating the Neurodiversity Week, our focus would be neurodiversity. And it is fact, all the children may not be same in this society. Some children are born with brains that think, learn, and process information differently than others. So some people, usually we come across these people who suffers from certain disorders. It may be autism disorder, it may be developmental coordination disorder, it may be learning disorder. So various types of disorder the people can suffer. Even we, all of us cannot be a perfect one. If we detect ourselves, some disorders must be there in general public, like you or me. So we cannot segregate them or isolate them due to their character. We have to understand, accept the differences or difficulties or diversities because all are not equal. It is not possible that every finger is equal in my hand. So five fingers will be different. Early identification and diagnosis can help to channelize their potentiality and strength in a productive manner. They can also contribute to society if they are properly guided from the early age. So, neurodiversity means we have to identify the differences and we have to guide them, channelize them in a productive manner. This is what I can understand. So, over to Manobina.
Thank you very much, Professor Ghosh. Thanks a lot. Yes, as you said that you are from a different domain, but whatever you are doing for the society, I should say it's commendable. Thank you very much, sir. And now I would come to Vijaya ma'am once again, since she is the most experienced person here. Ma'am, you have been in this profession for quite a long time, and you have seen people taking the journey from disability to difficulty and now to differences or diversity. Could you please tell us your experience in this regard? And
Uh, yes,
yeah,
actually, all this has a lot to do with the language. Language really matters. So, when we use labels for people, it hurts not only the individual but also the family and everyone who's close to that individual. So, I have seen these terms changing. In the beginning, even the word disability was not used. People used to just call them dumb, he cannot study, he's useless. But from there, I started hearing that people were asking why somebody cannot study. So the terms disability and ability came to be heard. But then when those labels are attached, he's autistic, he's deaf, he's dumb, those are, I feel, they are not doing any good to anybody. It is actually lowering their self esteem. So when we moved from disability to difficulties and then to differences, and we started saying they are differently abled people, it felt better. But today, this term, neurodiversity, it seems to be more close to my idea of inclusion. I have always believed that inclusion is looking out for the strength in every child, and inclusive education is tapping those strengths to help the child learn. So, neurodiversity seems to be very close to this belief that I hold in my heart. And I think it is something, it's a language that is not judgmental. It is got, it recognizes and emphasizes each person's strength, but at the same time, it does not ignore the fact that the neurodiverse person who has certain issues or he needs support, early intervention, it should be given. So I think this term neurodiversity, it is already becoming, many people are using it even in India. I talked to some of my friends who are in other working in other sectors of disability, and they all said that neurodiversity is becoming a popular and more used term. So I do see a hope that one day we will all accept that we cannot hurt people by using names and labels, but till our law changes, or till there's, there is a legal implication to this word disability. So when the disability certificate is there, the act talks about 21 disabilities, so those things will be there. And for early and correct diagnosis, maybe we still need to use them. But in the social side, when we are talking to each other as human beings, when we are referring to each other as human beings, I think we should all adapt this term called neurodiversity. That is what I feel, Manobina.
Yes, ma'am, very much so. Thank you very much. And what I just remember one thing. Uh, Professor Ghosh and Papiya, you are from West Bengal, so you might relate to it. When we were young, there was this children's magazine called Ananda Mela that used to come
Hmm.
every week, and we used to wait for Sunil Gangopadhyay's Shontu Kakababu. And you remember Kakababu used to use crutches.
Hmm.
Kakababu had difficulty in one of his legs, right?
Yes, yes.
So that was, if you say that, I know it doesn't have anything to do with the brain, but it is again that disability comes here. So Kakababu was the hero to us, right? And his disability never, uh, it was not an obstacle for him, was it? So when I just think back, I find, yes, we had a hero in our childhood, and as per the society's norms, that person was disabled.
Yes.
So we should not take it as a disability. And it was his whatever problem in one of his limbs. But here we are talking about the differences in brains. In our course, my friend Dr. Stephen Shore came twice. I interviewed him. Stephen Shore is autistic from the very childhood. It was diagnosed, and he did not have any speech till he was 5. He still had some of the other issues, but he's a professor in Adelphi University, New York. So I think we should celebrate these people, and there is nothing called disability in them, as I can say. And yeah, that's my take actually. Now I will come to yeah, Vijaya ma'am. Would you like to say something?
No, I said that it is a way of perceiving. When you want to look at the strengths and
Mhm.
not highlight the negative, then automatically the environment becomes conducive to inclusion.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Very much.
person also feels good, and you also feel good because you're accepting that person as a person first, and
Mhm.
then looking at other things.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. I will
And
come
it,
to you
and
now.
I also believe that when you interact with people of all diverse
Abilities.
traits,
Mm.
the whole environment becomes richer.
Yes, very much. Yeah. I will come to you now, Papiya. You are into this profession of teaching the teachers, and recently you have contributed a lot to the MOOC on understanding neurodiversity. How do you think that MOOC on understanding neurodiversity contributed to the overall thinking process of the participants? And we had 717 participants, as far as I remember.
Yeah. Thank you, Manobina. At the very outset, I must thank you because you're the person who introduced us. I mean, the team of neurodiversity developer and that both the organization NSOU and SEMCA offered this course because before that, this neurodiversity, honestly speaking, was not known to me. And when this thing first came up, I started, reading and then doing some references and all. And then I came to know that it is fundamentally, it emphasizes the collective strength, I mean, inherent in the cognitive diversity, as we all have come to the terms that neurodiversity is nothing but it's a kind of biodiversity. We like rainbows. We don't wear same clothes every day. We don't wear same shoes. We want to keep our wardrobe colorful, variation. We want that, but when it comes to human, we take a different toll. So this is not right. And this thing came only when I read and studied about neurodiversity, that it is the differences in the neurology, the nerves, the wiring, and all. You all are exponent here, so I will not repeat those things. But yes, all these things came into our mind, and we, keeping all these things into consideration, we developed the syllabus, and the modules were written with the spirit so that this MOOC can bring about in our participants, those who have enrolled. And as I would just like to highlight that our participants were from different spectrum, just like neurodiversity. It's a spectrum of numerous neurological conditions. So we had different types of participants, right from Vijaya ma'am to students,
To
true
Archana.
students. I mean, to Archana, yeah, Archana. I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, I am a mentor to Archana. I am a mentor to Vijaya ma'am. I mean, this is such a cherishing thing. Anyway, in the entire journey, I learned a lot, right from Manobina to Archana, Vijaya ma'am, and all Kavita ma'am, and there were so many other people. So this MOOC actually had the intent of making the participants, the partakers, to develop an understanding. And now this understanding has some of the uh, key parameters. Like the first one was to make them aware of neurodiversity, the different terms, terminology, because it was very new to most of the academicians, even in the field of education or special education per se. So, and we are giving this course. It was open to teacher educators, teachers, professionals, psychologists, then learners. So our intent was to make them understand how through awareness of the terms and terminologies. So the syllabus was developed keeping in mind this. Next was knowledge. Now this knowledge is a basic knowledge of understanding neurodiversity, and those who were into this course, they know that the knowledge, the level of the knowledge was at a very basic one. So the first one was to aware, then to give them the knowledge of the terms, terminologies, the statements, the spirit, um, all these things. And then the third level was developing an attitude. So we all know that whenever we need to develop an attitude, a sensitization is required. And this sensitization has two important parts. One is there should be the correct knowledge, and I should be aware of what I'm speaking. So this knowledge and awareness both combines and give you an attitude. Now
Yeah.
this attitude, when it comes to action, is when in a positive, of course, in a desirable way. The action in education, we always say desirable action, desirable outcome. So in this course also, we had the intent of creating that attitude so that they can act in a positive way. And I think to great extent we were successful, thanks to the entire team for creating, developing this awareness, giving the basic knowledge, then also sensitizing through this awareness, knowledge, and building up a positive attitude. So, really, kudos to both the institutions and all the people who were involved with it. And a special thanks goes to our captain. I was just forgetting. Professor Anirban Ghosh. He was right from the beginning, right from the proposal state to the certification state. So it was a great journey, and I'm sure many of our participants have joined this live session today. And we are getting, feedback from them through WhatsApp, email also. So everyone are saying the same thing, just like I started, that we had no idea about neurodiversity. What's that? Is it only dyscalculia? Is it only the learning differences? Previously, we used to say that it's a learning disability, learning a disorder. So they have changed, and they will take this baton to the society. And there, where our course, the intent, the objective of our course is getting its success. So that's all from my side. Thank you. Over to Manobina.
Thank you very much, Papiya. Here is Kavita ji, our very own Kavita Sharma, our colleague in that course also. Sir, this question is directed to you. Kavita ji couldn't make it to the program today because of her other professional commitments, and we are missing you very much, Kavita ji. And Kavita ji has asked, when will the new batch start? A few of my friends asked. Professor Ghosh, will you be the answer, Kavita ji?
I am very happy that there is a demand for this course, but we have concluded the present batch. It may take another 30 or 35 days to start the next batch. Definitely, we will start. Definitely, we will start.
Even my friends, some of them have asked. So the demand is there. It is
Yeah,
extending.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, we all will wait for the new session of the same course.
Yeah.
But before that, let's take a psychologist's view on neurodiversity in India. My friend Archana is a psychologist. Hi, Archana. Do
Hello.
we have Archana? I just wanted to know if we have any standardized test for the differences that come under the neurodiversity umbrella.
You will have discussed a lot about neurodiversity, so I'll directly come to my question. First of all, I would like to mention here that psychologists are not authorized to certify a child for all the differences come under the neurodiversity umbrella. Yes,
Yes.
of course, for the specific learning differences, which is called LD in Indian context, the clinical psychologists are authorized to certify or to diagnose. So, if you ask me, Manobina, I'll say everyone is unique. Our ways of thinking result from both our inherent machinery and the experiences that have programmed us. So, a psychological assessment is the attempt of a skilled professional like me to use the techniques and the tools of psychology to learn either general or the specific facts about any person or the child. And we do this either to inform others of how they function now or to predict their behavior and functioning in the future. So assessment process includes many things, especially for the learning difficulty or special SPLD, like parental consent and parent interview, gathering information from the teachers or from the school, looking at the student's workbook, interview with the child. and so on. Psychological assessment usually involves a more comprehensive assessment of the individual. And this process of assessment makes use of psychological tests or other qualitative methods. So it is a process of collecting information which can be formal, informal, qualitative, and quantitative. So these assessment process involves the integration of information from multiple sources, such as tests related to ability, intelligence, interest, attitudes, and as well as we gather information from personal interviews also. So there are many common psychoeducational tests available. Like I can give some examples, few examples. Bachelor Adult Intelligence Scale, Malice Intelligence Scale, Dyslexic Assessment in Language of India, DALI, the Woodcock-Johnson's Test of Achievement, the Wide Range Achievement Test, and many more. There are many more tests. Uh, these tests are although very good, but still I found the drawback of this type of test is that the norms in different regions of the country will vary and the norms of the same region will change over a period of time. So sometimes what I feel, in a diverse country like India, each area would have to develop its own norms, which would need to be reviewed time to time. And one more drawback that I have found is there is very less scope for us as a practicing clinical psychologist in India to certify the specification of the specific learning difficulties,
Yes.
right? Like a dyslexic child is there, and he might or might not have other difficulties like dysphagia or dyscalculia. But at present, we hardly mention these specifications in the certificates. So these are few issues which needs to be resolved.
Yes, Archana, thank you very much. And Archana, you were talking about Dali.
Yeah.
Dali is available only in four languages in India: English, Hindi, Marathi, and Kannada. So you are basically Hindi speaking. Your native language is Hindi, right? So you can take tests in Hindi and maybe in others. But you are in Gujarat at present, so you don't have anything in Gujarati.
True,
So
true. It becomes very
I'm sure
difficult.
if it's difficulties in assessing
True, agree.
dyslexia. Dyslexia is a
True,
reading difficulty, right? And not every child goes to an English medium school.
true. This is
So
the
this
basic
is
difficulty.
Hmm. In a country like ours, where 22 languages are officially spoken and uh, have the official status, just four languages, English, Hindi, Kannada, and Marathi, really do not serve the purpose. And during our course, Papiya was saying something about it. Papiya has some plans, I think, regarding development of some tests or something like that. Papiya?
Yes, Manobina, I did propose, and that considering all the available tools or questionnaires or scales, whatever we have, and
Mhm.
since those scales and tools are not available in all the languages, so what we
Yes.
can do is we can standardize them. What we called in methodology of research is adaptation of tools that we can build a team. We can have a language expert, then a psychologist, and education or special educationist. So in this way, a team can standardize through adaptation of the tools, keeping the one that Archana just now said, like the culture specific, the culture fair. These two issues are very important, as India is a land to cultural diversity. So these two aspects are very important. And then another thing that while translating, the terminologies, those are very important. Even the meaning of the terminology, that has to be intact without changing the spirit or the essence of that particular thing. So for that, a team is required who can standardize, adapt the tool, so that it can be used, because we are talking about proper or correct diagnosis, and for that, these are the only techniques that we have that can help us out to identify, because identification is very important. We just cannot, as Manobina said, I remember in the last live session, like oversimplification. That word, it just it caught my attention, and I was going through many of the research papers, I saw, there are numerous studies. The report says, even in 2021, I found one report that they have gone, a autistic child or someone suffering from autism, they have diagnosed, but not with a formal diagnosis. It was just like he has some autistic like traits. So this formal diagnosis is very important, and many, even abroad, I will not mention the particular name of the country, but they are going through these norms like autistic like traits, but there is no formal diagnosis. This is very harmful, and we cannot oversimplify things like, oh, I am also like this, I am also having this. So I think we should change our mind in this line too. So, and another thing that I was going through while doing some review, there should be, some tools. I'm not saying scales, tools like in the form of interview or structured or unstructured, whatever, to the parents of the neurodivergent people, the teachers who are catering to the neurodivergent learners, then the caregivers. So we should have, small tools for these people also, so that we can give the right support. That is very important. Now we are talking about inclusion. So, but for that inclusion, we need to create that bed, so that we can support them, we can respect them, because ultimately it is a mutual respect, and for that we need to cultivate these aspects. And it is only possible if a team work in a spirit of research. Research doesn't mean just gaining a PhD or, publishing papers, articles. No, not that. But definitely a team can work on making this happen. Thank you.
Yes, actually, that was my next question to all of us present here, including me. That how can we, as academics, researchers, psychologists, practitioners, together contribute to finding some solutions to these diagnosis issues? And whatever you said is absolutely correct, absolutely right. I will come to you now, Vijaya ma'am. What is your opinion?
I fully agree that correct diagnosis and early diagnosis is important. We cannot overlook that need at all. And if something that of that kind can be done, to suit the culture and needs of every part of our diverse country, if we can really manage to do that, it will be wonderful. And when Archana was talking about, not specifying the difficulty or the difference in the certificate, I find it differs even from state to state. Like in Bombay, we do get certificates which mention dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia. In some
Okay.
cases, they mention only dyscalculia. But then, based on that one test which happens in that place, which is maybe in a hospital, they go for 1 or 2 days. But we who see them in the school day in and day out, sometimes we differ, we sometimes wonder why this report has come. So we are not really completely satisfied with the way that
True,
test
Vijaya
is
ma'am. Actually,
certificate is given.
Yes,
Yes, we
Archana.
can't listen.
yeah, yeah. Actually, being a psychologist, I also face the same thing. When the assessment is done, it goes in a one single go. It should not be like that. Actually, it needs 2 3 sittings. But usually, psychologists and other professionals doesn't do that. They go in the single session and they complete in a single session and they make conclusion. So this is a wrong approach actually.
No, here in like Nair Hospital, the government hospitals do call them 2 3 times, but then there are such very few testing centers in a big city like Bombay, and everybody runs to that same place. So I don't know really what justice is being done there. I'm not sure. Maybe some reports are very correct, some are still in has a question mark. So for me, uh, as an educator, I think the moment we should have special educators and people who know these things in the school to assist. That I think that rule has already come. It has been mandatory that all schools must have the special teachers. So if we notice that there is something that needs to be supported, the early intervention strategies must be known to everyone, because the children are in school for 4 hours, rest of the day they are at home. So what you said, that parents, caregivers, siblings all are collaborating to look after that child. So I think we should have those strategies in a more formalized way, and we should share that in a better way.
Ma'am, as you said that now this rule has come and there are special education teachers in every schools. But do you know their qualifications, their area of
Yeah, we
specialization?
discussed that also, because Rehabilitation Council of India has not specified that what's the qualification. So if the special educator or the special teacher does not know what the high school child is learning, and what she requires, he or she requires, then there is a sort of a gap. Yes, we are having issues, but I'm a person who always believes that we should not stop doing our little things. The
Yes,
little
ma'am.
things will add up to big things.
Ma'am,
So
most of the RCI affiliated courses are on mental retardation, intellectual
yes,
disability,
mm, you
and
are
maybe
more
hearing
aware of
impairment or
that.
visual impairment. What about autistic children and the children who have dyslexia or dysgraphia, dyspraxia? Someone who has done a course on mental retardation will always try to find something of that line in a
Mhm.
child who is autistic. But the autistic children are not mentally retarded, and there
Yes,
is the gap, a huge gap. We every day we face it as a
and
practice.
because of this gap, uh, the attitude or the acceptance even among parents is not changing, because
Yes.
there's so much confusion, there is so much of barriers to acceptance, that even parents don't want to uh, accept or go for the assessment.
Here is a question on the same line. How long might it take neurodiverse learner to be accepted into school system?
My answer would be that the process has started, but we all have to try together to make it go, to grow. It's not that it doesn't exist. Our country is a very inclusive country. By nature, we are inclusive. So for us, I think it should not be difficult. We will do it better than many other Western countries if we all put our hands together and
Ma'am,
try together.
ma'am, I would like to borrow this optimism from you, but honestly speaking, I'm not very optimistic about it.
No, there
And
is no there. You have to be hopeful, because it is hope that takes us from step to step in life.
true, ma'am, but we are very ableist society. We
No,
are
it will
extreme
change.
ableist society.
Like there are more Manobinas, no more Papiyas, more Archanas. In the We should multiply your breed, and then I'm sure we'll make a change.
So, ma'am, when I came back from Scotland to India, and we settled in this part of the country, western part of the country, and I started working with a school, and I found a couple of children having autistic traits, but I was not authorized to screen
Yeah.
them. But I went to the principal and said that, sir, I think these two children have some autistic traits. That was the first time he heard that word, autistic. He said, what it is? Then I told him what it was, and then to me at that point, and then I said, "Sir, I think we need to speak to the parents so that they can go for a diagnosis, and maybe they will go to a developmental pediatrician or maybe a pediatric neurologist for the diagnosis." He said, "कैसे आप बोल सकते हो एक पेरेंट को कि आपका बच्चा पागल है?"
अरे पागल.
आई सेड, सर मैंने तो बोला ही नहीं कि पागल है, पागल के साथ तो कोई मतलब सिमिलैरिटी नहीं है. It's autism is this and they have these traits and this child's traits are matching. So that's why I just want to send him for a diagnosis. तो उन्होंने मुझे बोला कि आप इंग्लिश पढ़ाने में ध्यान दीजिए, वो आपके लिए ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा. So I became an English teacher in that school.
The problem is with that school, not with you. You carry
The
on.
problem was with many schools in this area, and then finally I found a sensible person, and he allowed me to help him to open an integrated unit within the campus of a mainstream school. But he was the rarest of the rares, you can say, in this part of the country at that time.
There
So,
I agree. We don't have many people who are of that kind of a
so
open
that is
thing.
why, ma'am, see, I'm in my 40s now, and I really want to be very hopeful about it, but my experiences really do not allow me to. Um,
No, we should not be thinking of our past bitter experiences. Let us think of our present good experiences and hope for better
yeah,
experiences.
very
Yes.
few experiences though, ma'am, because
No, but
since we
even
are
the fact, see, the fact that you have designed a course like this and 700 and odd people have become aware of this term and they are all in their own little corners trying to
yeah, ma'am, it was a
spread
baby step that
awareness.
we took. It was a baby step, but how many billions population we have? And we
It's
had only
okay.
700 participants. So it was a
Ah,
baby step that we took. But yes, of course, ma'am. And I really found during the conversations also this disability is a word that is still there in our legislature, and not only in our legislature, in many of the developed countries as well.
yes,
So
yes,
we
yes,
love to say disability. So here we have a provision accommodations for LD. LD is
yes.
what? Learning disability. So we
Learning
are
disability.
obsessed with this word disability actually. So yes,
And
we will have to take some baby steps to celebrate this
we,
diversity in the
yes,
true sense
and
of the
even
term.
our see the act calls them disabilities, no, 21 disabilities, but
Ma'am, pure
letting
positivity. It's for you, ma'am.
thank you so much. And I've actually learned, that story of the starfish. You must have all heard about it.
Yes,
The
yes, yes.
little boy who is throwing the starfish back into the waters. And he said, I made a difference to that one. So we should all keep counting how many people we can make a difference for. And every little success has to be celebrated. Every time we are able to use that word neurodiversity, every time we are able to respect a child for whatever he or she is, we have to celebrate. And that's the
Definitely,
way
ma'am.
forward.
Sure. And that is why maybe we at I for Inclusion try to have a session in regular intervals in this Let's Talk Inclusion actually, because Facebook has a greater reach than any other platforms, I
Hmm.
think. So whatever we discuss, yes, sometimes we are upset, sometimes we are happy, and we discuss about this diversity and inclusion, and maybe it reaches one or two people, and maybe it will
Yes.
multiply one day. We are hopeful about it.
Yeah, it will. Why not? See, we have moved from a time when we didn't know anything to a
Yes,
time when we are so aware and we are even knowing what to do. We are able to help so many children. See, every success story, uh, when the child comes into the school in nursery and goes out after passing the 12th standard, fighting all the barriers that come on the way, we are doing that along with the parents, along with everybody who helps us. And every success story is building our confidence to try more. So inclusion is actually a journey which takes us from one achievement to the next. That's why I call inclusion a journey from attitudes to achievements.
Yeah, true. Very true, ma'am. Thank you very much. Archana, would you like to add something to it? You are mute.
Very positive comments, Vijay ma'am, really very positive. And I would like to appreciate Papia's commendable things, and as she's going to do this Dali's development, and it would really be beneficial to provide basic facilities for the assessment within the system. And being a psychologist, I will be very glad to provide my assistance in any possible way, surely. And good, very good.
Collaboration are happening here.
Yeah.
And now I will come to you, sir, Professor Ghosh. Yes, a wonderful initiative you have taken, sir. NSU has taken under your mentorship to create awareness and acceptance about neurodiversity. Now, how do you think we can get some more support from academia in near future?
I was hearing Vijaya ma'am that there is a lack of facilities for assessment. So we have the practitioner, we have the policymaker, we have the government machineries, but we have to work together. In Indian context, the main problem is the mindset and outlook of the policymakers and also the administrators who actually execute the policies. So this is a big problem in our society. So what we can do to create the ecosystem for providing equal opportunity to all the people, we have to work together for making a better world. And we know every human being is an asset to the society. So we have to create that ecosystem to allow everyone to be important in our society. So in that case, the advocacy is the only way to make the people aware of the concept of neurodiversity. At Netaji Subhash Open University, in association with Commonwealth Educational Media Center for Asia, tried to create an awareness by offering a 5-week long online course, Understanding Neurodiversity, of which we are all the party, and we were actively involved in that process. So the idea was to start a conversation and encourage the people to learn about neurodiversity for the equal participation in the society. So this was our target, and this was our maiden venture, which was very successful in terms of at least the participation point of view. And since there is a demand, we can also re-offer this course, this massive open online course, because awareness is the key to make our society a better. So from institutional point of view, we can come together. This is the age of collaboration, so we can collaborate in specific area, whether it is development of assessment tools or development of a standardized policy, so that we can submit at the proper authority, proper level, proper appropriate level for their consideration. So to change the society, the academia should come forward, the practitioners are there, so we may work together with the collaboration mode for betterment of our society. So from Netaji Subhash Open University, we can help to develop the assessment tools. And since there is a financial involvement, we can work together from academic point of view and also financial point of view. So that's it from my part. So over to Manobina.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. And Vijaya ma'am is also clapping hands. Actually, it is honestly it was necessary, and without the help from the universities, from academia, we as practitioners cannot do anything. We can't change a thing.
No,
Actually,
ma'am. We are very flexible in this. field.
Yeah.
We are very flexible, we are open-minded, so we can work together, we can collaborate.
So whatever
So
ideas we have,
yeah,
we can
yeah,
just pass on to you.
sure, sure, sure.
Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot. So I just wanted to take some questions from the audience, but it's already an hour or so. We generally have this program for 30 to 40 minutes. It's already 55 minutes, past 55 minutes. So let us conclude this show here. And before we conclude, may I have some concluding comments from you, Papiya?
Yes, Monobina. Yeah, actually, I just want to add one thing. Someone posted in the chat, like, when will this neurodivergent students be accepted in school? We have to go a little back. I mean, we have created, first of its kind, this course on understanding neurodiversity, and slowly and steadily this will permeate into the society as it was a pan-India participation. Now, the second thing is the teachers. They are the nation builders and they are the nurturers in the classroom. So, we need to make all the teachers of all the schools make them aware, make them know what is neurodiversity. So, I think from there, this thing can percolate and automatically the mindset will change. And I'm not talking about policy because I'm very gray in that area. uh, what I want to say is we can start writing to the regulatory bodies, like NCTE, RCI, to include this core, I mean, this topic, understanding neurodiversity, into the curriculum of their respective courses, befitting courses, of course. Like in BEd, general BEd, there is a paper on inclusive education. So we can have one neurodiversity chapter or a topic or a course on this. So when the school teachers are coming for in-service training, they will get to know. So this is how we can build the attitude, the knowledge. They can have the skills, this early intervention skills, very small, but still they can have a right attitude to accept. At least later on it can be transferred to the specialist, but the first and foremost is we recognize, we know. If I don't know about what is autistic, like Monobina said, the very first day when she uttered the word autistic, her principal said, oh, he's pagal, or he's a mad person, this child is mad, how can I communicate it to his parents? So this small things we need to erode these things. So for that we need to have the teacher preparation courses. These topics need to be included in the teacher preparation courses in the rightful places, so that our teachers, they are the nation builders, they are the first one who caters, who nurtures the child from primary to the secondary, at least. So I think Professor Ghosh can give us some light on this, like how can we approach to this regulatory bodies, these apex bodies. We can write to them to include this, or whenever we are framing curriculum from our point of view, from our capacity, we can include, but that will be not the end. It has to be pan India, everywhere. So it has to come from top to the bottom, from the apex bodies to the from UGC, or I'm not saying UGC, or I mean from the apex bodies, regulatory bodies, to the institutions, higher education institution imparting teacher preparation courses, Rehabilitation Council of India sponsored or affiliated institutions, to have this thing into the curriculum. Right now I have not found this topic under any teacher preparation courses, so I think we should start making this happen. Vijaya ma'am can also help us in this. Okay, this much I can say.
Yeah, there is a question. It's in Bengali. Uh, পশ্চিমবঙ্গের সরকারি ও সরকারি সাহায্যপ্রাপ্ত সমস্ত প্রাথমিক বিদ্যালয়ের প্রত্যেক শিক্ষক শিক্ষিকাদের মধ্যে এমনভাবে চিন্তা ভাবনা কিভাবে আনা যাবে, কারণ তারা শিখতে, জানতে, বুঝতে চান না। একটি শিশু তো প্রথম প্রাথমিক বিদ্যালয়েই যায়, বেসরকারি প্রাথমিক বিদ্যালয়গুলিতেও প্রয়োজন, কিন্তু কিভাবে আপনাদের এই ভাবনাগুলো তাদের ভাবনাতেও আনা যাবে? তারা এমন শিশুদের চান না তাদের বিদ্যালয়ে। So Ushangi, wants the
Ushagni Dash.
Ushagni, yeah,
Ushagni.
Ushagni wants the teachers of the primary schools of West Bengal to learn about this, because since she thinks that since they are not aware of this diversity, they really don't want diverse learners in their schools. Professor Ghosh, any suggestion, please?
The only answer, we have to change our mindset. The teachers and headmasters are there, so we have to convince them to take the people, such people, to include in the group. That's it. So we have to
Yeah.
change the mindset first.
উষাগ্নি, আমি একটা কথা বলবো। যদি সম্ভব হয় তাহলে এই আমরা যারা রয়েছি, আম আপনি যদি ডাকেন, কিছু অর্গানাইজ করতে পারেন, কিছু প্রাথমিক স্কুলের হেডমাস্টার, হেডমিস্ট্রেসদের নিয়ে কোনো একটা সেশন যদি অর্গানাইজ করতে চান, আমরা যারা আছি আমাদের যদি খবর দেন, আমরা গিয়েও বোঝাতে পারি। আর যদি আপনি অনলাইন কিছু অর্গানাইজ করতে পারেন তাহলেও জানাবেন, বা আমরা যদি করতে পারি সেটাও জানাবেন। যদি আপনার তাদের আনা সম্ভব হয় বেশ কিছু প্রাথমিক স্কুলের হেডমাস্টার, হেডমিস্ট্রেসকে, তাহলে আমরা আমাদের যতটা ক্ষমতা সেই অনুযায়ী তাদের বোঝানোর চেষ্টা করব।
Huh.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually that is what we must be doing in small areas, like, if the different schools could get together, if the heads of schools are accepting this idea of inclusive education and neurodiversity, then those schools can sort of get all their teachers trained or become knowledgeable about handling such children and accepting these, celebrating these differences. So again, as Professor Ghosh said, it is collaboration. It is basically coming together of people, and every collaborative unit will have one or two leaders. So I find that all those of us who believe and who are convinced about neurodiversity and inclusive education, we are the people who should build that community of people who will take it further. And if parents are included as a part of the school's design for inclusion, parents play a very big role, because through children, teachers are influencing families. And if a
True.
class is inclusive, 60 children in the class, 60 families are getting influenced.
Very true.
So it will pass, it will go ahead, but we have to keep trying and not give up.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all our esteemed guests today, my colleagues to be precise, Vijaya ma'am, Professor Ghosh, Papiya, and Archana. Thanks a lot for your time. And this is the time to conclude this session. And thank you very much to all the viewers as well. And please keep an eye on our Facebook page for the 38th episode of Let's Talk Inclusion. Maybe next week, maybe not, maybe a couple of weeks later. And yes, it is Neurodiversity Celebration Week this week. And on 2nd April, we are going to have Autism Awareness Day. And the whole of April is Autism Awareness Month. So we are planning to have more guests, more experts from all over the world. Let's see. Until then, take care and goodbye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good
Nice
night.
meeting all
Thanks
of
a
Thank you.
lot.
Good night. Good night.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Manobina. Thank you all. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.